Hey everybody, welcome back. So we went to the ruins, I believe.
The Promias Ruins.
It's been a while. I was actually on a business trip for like 2.5 weeks, so I can't remember what we were doing. Oh yes, real quick. One of my viewers mentioned that I'm being too lenient with my monsters. I'm not. Um, I'm praising them too much, and that actually is correct. I am being pretty nice to my monsters. I'm not really playing this game all that seriously. I'm sure it's quite obvious by this point. Um, Plus, I'm not usually that serious with first generation monsters, but I am gonna try to, since my viewers seem to be pointing out all the things I'm not doing correctly, which, they're all true. I'm gonna try a little harder. So technically I should scold them both. I'm going to scold you! I'm in a scolding mood anyway. Rawr.
Roar!
I had to listen to about Scrum for 2 whole days last week. Ah.
Yay, agile methodology.
Oh, it was so funny though. So we went to this class, and this guy came from our company to talk about it. And the nice thing, I have to give him a lot of credit. He wasn't forcing it down our throats, and he wasn't saying it was the greatest thing ever. All he did was explaining it and how it should be. And I was like, that's all he needed to do. In fact, he did a really good job of it. I mean, although it sounded like every other word out of his mouth was an acronym, and I didn't know what they were. Even though I read all the papers beforehand, I still didn't know what they were. That was kind of annoying, but so everyone was going around the room saying what they did and their experience with Scrum or Waterfall or any of these methodologies, and of course I have like no experience whatsoever. I ended up saying as my answer, I hate Scrum. And he was so hilarious. I loved the way he talked. He goes, I celebrate your honesty, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad you liked it. and and I think it actually made it a lot better because I was a butt about it, and I wasn't a butt, but I pretty much was upfront. I don't like it. I feel like he explained it better. Like how he says he explained how it should work and how most people do it, which is wrong. Like us, we do it wrong, is what I found out after 2 days. But it was really interesting. And of course, near the very end of the class, everybody was. Oh, I praised Graham, didn't I? You got away with it this time, Graham. It was funny because by the end of the thing, everybody was asking me if I liked it, and I'm like, well, no, not really. But at least I understand it better. And I said, at least I understand better that the methodology isn't that bad. It's the fact that apparently nobody can execute it well. It's like, it's like religion. It's kind of like you have a set of rules that make sense, but nobody can execute them well.
Yeah, so I was able to visit with you when you were down here this last week or two.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were all talking about that and how it kind of does get interesting how you kind of have this set of principles and techniques that are prescribed by the people that came up with the idea, and then you got all the followers who in many cases don't really understand the principles. They just hear the techniques and they're like, okay, we're going to make these techniques happen.
Yeah.
And they don't understand the why, and so they do the techniques wrong in the end. So
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's because my outlook was so different from everybody else. I think we got a really good look at it, and the irony is there was one slide he put up of things that people commonly do wrong, and one of them was the absent product owner. And everyone on my team stared at my product owner. He just kind of looked at the ground like, I know, because he's never there. He's always in meetings, and he's always telling me he doesn't have time for answer my questions. It was so funny. And the teacher looked around and he goes, I don't think I need to talk about this one. No, you don't. So it's been kind of a running gag all week that, where's our product owner? Oh no, we're falling into bad habits. He's not here. But anyway.
Yeah, those are always fun meetings to have, those kind of team building training meetings.
Yeah, it was actually really hilarious. We formed teams with our coworkers who aren't normally on our normal team. And actually the team, I ended up being, I was the last kid picked kind of joke. Because we were supposed to have groups of different skill sets, and nobody needed my skill set in this exercise, so nobody wanted me on the team. It was pretty funny. But anyway, one of my coworkers on the team I ended up with, he was actually on my team, like my real team before, but he got moved to a different one just in this past month, and I was kind of sad. And I had he reminded me why I missed working with him, because it was an exercise we had to do. We had to list, if you're working on an issue, we had to decide, when is it done? What's the definition of done? And we looked at him, and he goes, "Kid tested, mother approved." And I was like, yes! It was so freaking awesome. But anyway, that's pretty much been everything. And I've had a lot of family drama. I'm not getting into it because it's kind of depressing, but we'll get through it. And nobody's buying my house, which is also depressing, but we'll get there. Somebody's gonna buy my house. One of you viewers would like to buy my house, I'm sure. If you're in the, the southeastern region of Virginia and you need a house, let me know. And I'm not giving it away either. You have to pay for it. just in case one of y'all was gonna try to cheat me here.
It's not cheating. They've had to put up with listening to me for hundreds of videos.
Yeah.
Surely they deserve something for their endurance.
Speaking of old videos and recording for a while, Helper decided he wanted to record again because he's been freeing up around, with his work recently, before we moved. And we pulled out one of my oldest microphones I started recording with, and it doesn't work anymore. It's terrible. And I was just like, no! So I went and bought a new one today. It's a Blue Yeti mic.
Nice. That's what I use.
Yeah, I know. That's why I decided to go ahead and get one. So I'm not using it now, but I'll get it working.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel as if I'm always underusing it, not using it appropriately, just because I'm like, I know you can get better sound of this. I hear better sound, and I know that I just don't care.
Well, it's also because you're using a free recording app too, so...
Yeah, there's all that stuff, but I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to the painstaking efforts to isolate the sound in the room or anything like that, and it's like, it is a good mic. I've worked with lots of different mics over the years. It's a good mic.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of okay, there's a fan on me right now. It's that's probably not good. And it's I'm sitting next to a window that faces towards the street that goes in front of our house. It's that's probably not good. It's okay. It doesn't really matter how good your mic is if you don't put yourself into a good, quiet environment. Yeah.
Trials and tribulations of recording.
Mm-hmm.
Forward. I always think those are eyes in the ruins. They're "Rrr." Come on, Cal. Let's explore.
It's just kind of funny, running through ruins and stuff. I've been playing now Assassin's Creed 4. Slowly working my way through the series. And, but yeah, I mean, it's just I'm running through all these ruins and stuff, and so I'm looking at the ruins here, and I'm like, they seem kind of low res or something.
Yeah, compared to what you're playing.
Yeah, compared to what I'm playing on, my PlayStation 4 or something. And so it's
Yeah. Helper, Helper's just started Dark Souls 3. And, the graphics are definitely better, but almost unnecessary for that kind of game. Yeah, and he can't play multiplayer on it, so he's upset.
Yeah, he was mentioning that earlier. I had forgotten that the PS4 required that you actually have the PlayStation Plus account to be able to play online.
As a developer, I understand that they're trying to pay for, servers and stuff like that by doing it, but it's also really obnoxious. People ask me what my favorite console is, and I always say Super Nintendo, and it's because of things like this. You stick the cartridge in, and it starts playing immediately. There's no updates, there's no downloads, there's no garbage, there's no downloadable content. You have everything in the game, and it plays immediately, and it works. And it's these days, it's you plug in a game, and you have to wait 6 hours for it to install, then you need to get updates, and then you have to buy a subscription, and then there's more in-app purchases, and it's I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I remember, what was it? There was some night that we set aside so that I could play some games. And so I disappeared back into the media room, and my wife is letting me do this, and I come out an hour later, and she goes, oh, are you done already? And I'll go, no, I haven't played anything yet at all. I'm still waiting for updates to finish. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I know. I'm like, I've been staring at YouTube videos and other things just waiting for this thing to finish up. And I think it took like an hour and a half before all the different updates finished. And it was just a mess.
Oh, it mastered sleeping. Oh! I thought they didn't have this until Monster Rancher 5, or EVO. Gosh, I can never get that right. I think it actually heals him if he sleeps.
Interesting.
I'll have to see. Actually, I can see now. I'm being silly.
Why would you do that?
Recover life. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead. Do I want it here? Yes, I do. It's so expensive, I shouldn't be able to use it by accident, so... And if I do, I'll probably need the healing anyway, so... What?
What?
Helper's laughing at me.
Oh. Helper might be laughing at himself. He is a silly guy.
It's been a long week, so everything is funny by this point.
I got into work today. My boss was coming down the hallway towards me as I was walking towards his office. And he's walking down the hallway towards me. Didn't even get a chance to say hi or good morning or anything. And he just takes one look and he goes, you need your wake-up juice. And I'm like, yeah, coffee. It was not a good morning.
I've been training. I've been training 2 of my new teammates this past couple weeks. So, for me, I haven't actually been doing a lot of coding myself. But yeah, it's kind of like it was like yesterday when they finally just gave up on their work and they're like, "Can you just do it?" And I'm like, "I guess." And I was like, Well, a few days I wish I drank coffee.
What was it? Earlier this week, there was this bug that I had run into, and it wasn't related to what I was working on at the time. But it was persistent. Like it was crashing the program every single time I did something specific that we need to be able to do. And it seemed like it might have been something that I had caused. I wasn't sure.
You cause a bug?
Yeah, I know, right? So we put off fixing it though until I implemented something else. Like I got done building the other thing, and I said, "Let me go back and fix this bug now." And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely, please fix it, especially if it's reproducible. Like if you can make it happen consistently, fix it." And so I make it happen, like, at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, good, it's happening still. Come back in the next morning, it happens twice, and then I can't make it happen ever again.
Aww.
For the life of me, for 6 hours straight, I could not get it to happen. I was like, this was happening 100% of the time before, now I can't get it to happen at all. I have no idea what went wrong. But in the meantime, I managed to find 3 other ways to crash the program. And so I fixed all 3 of those and was able to get those fixes, put into the program. So it's more stable, but never managed to figure out what the root cause was for this issue. I had some suspicions about it. I eventually found out that one of the other guys on the team, he put some changes in that may have fixed the issue inadvertently.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, that could be what it is. But even going back to before his version of the code, I couldn't get it to happen. It was just frustrating. It was like, by the time it was done, I probably spent 8 hours and never isolated the exact problem.
Oh, it was like, I'll tell you a funny story. We had to back up a little. During our class, when we got into our mini teams during class, we had to pick an animal for our team because we were gonna make websites based on this animal. We were gonna do it using this, system, like this methodology. We didn't end up doing it, but there were 2 classes, and I was in the second class. But the people in the first class, there was a group who, of course, they didn't realize that they had to actually make a website based on the animal, like for its habitat and what it ate and all that, and its, and its anatomy. Of course, they didn't know that. So when they made up their animal, it was a piranha raptor. It had the head of a piranha, the body of a velociraptor, and its arms were human arms. And so, of course, then they found out after they picked this animal that they actually had to make a website on it. So it got pretty funny and complicated. But one of the funny things about it were the male ones had 2 left arms and the females had 2 right arms. So they'd always swim in circles and they couldn't go anywhere else. But at least they'd always be swimming towards each other. And so, it's been a running gag. And so today, we came into work and somebody was on the team that made up that animal had broken every single build we had, and it was like 40 something builds, and so nobody could do any work because they were all broken. And of course it's the same guy who doesn't come in till like 10 a.m. or something like that. And so somebody actually made a picture of this piranha raptor and started emailing it out, like screaming his name and making faces at him, and it was just so funny. And then somebody updated his title, it's from like software engineer to like build breaker or something like that. It was hilarious. We had way too much fun with it.
I was gonna say, as soon as you started like describing them with like the fish head and then the arms like that, you know what I think of?
What?
The merman from Slayers, or the fishman, whatever he was.
Oh, the fish people, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I actually just recently rewatched Slayers.
I've got to get my wife to sit down and watch that with me at some point.
Second season at least, because the first season is good, but we all know why it's not that good.
What are you talking about? This season's the best season.
Oh yeah, that
reminds season.
It's funny. So I loaded Slayer seasons 2 and 3 on my iPad before I traveled, and I had also finally updated my iPad to the newest iOS. What is it, 9? That's now out. Because I was being lazy and dragging my feet. Because a lot of my games will break, especially my really old ones.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I was watching an episode of Slayers on my iPad, and I decided, it's fun, but I'd rather be doing something, otherwise I'm going to fall asleep. I'll play Carcassonne, so I have Carcassonne on my iPad. And I went to open Carcassonne, and the video kept going, and I was like, oh my gosh, multitasking actually works! And so it was so exciting to sit there and watch Slayers and play Carcassonne at the same time. Except for, of course, the battery went down twice as fast, but it was incredibly entertaining.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's surprising how well the multitasking video stuff works when it does work,
Oh, Helper wants me to talk about my experiment. So I had to do a lot of traveling in the past couple weeks, and I brought my crochet with me, and I was like, yeah, I'll do some crochet. And through experimentation, actually the first couple times I traveled, I noticed that I was seeing an interesting pattern that at the airport, people don't sit directly next to you at the terminal, like when people will stand before they'll fill up the seats, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so I noticed this pattern that when I was crocheting, people would sit directly next to me, but they wouldn't always. And I was like, well, that's odd. So I directly experimented. I feel kind of bad, but it's kind of fun at the same time. Every time I was crocheting, 100% of the time, people would sit directly next to me and seem okay with it. But every time I was playing on my iPad or my Game Boy, nobody would sit next to me.
Huh.
I didn't talk to anybody either time. I didn't have my headphones on either time because I didn't want to taint the experiment. And I was very fascinated by this. Of course, then my coworker asked if I ever tried both at the same time, and I said yes, but the experiment doesn't count because I was watching 80s anime on my iPad. Nobody wants to talk to me when I'm watching 80s anime on my iPad.
Uh-huh.
So I just thought that was very interesting. Of course, my coworkers are like, you shouldn't experiment on people.
Yes, you should.
It's fun.
I may have told the story before, I can't remember, but when I was in college, I had a roommate who was a psychology major. And one morning I woke up, and he also experimented with like baking and cooking and stuff. So anyway, one morning I woke up and there was this beautiful looking cranberry muffin on my pillow next to me, like right in front of my face. And so I woke up, and it was a Saturday, so it was probably like 10 o'clock or something ridiculous. I say ridiculous nowadays.
I don't know if we've seen this. It's a Durahan that's part Rhino Roller.
Interesting.
Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, so I see this cranberry muffin. I'm like, well, only Michael could have made this. But I'm like, I wonder if there's anything to it. Like, is this an experiment? Like, is it filled with garlic or something? Like, is he going to see if I'm going to eat, food from strangers that I don't know where it's from or something? Like, what's the point of this? And so I'm very confused. But I'm like, who cares? It's food. So I went ahead and ate it, and promptly went back to sleep. And I woke up again a couple of hours later. So it's sometime in the afternoon at this point, probably. And Michael's like, hey, did you eat the muffin? I'm like, yeah, I ate the muffin. I was like, so what was the deal? What were you trying to figure out? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what was the experiment? He's like, that's a really good idea. I should do that next time. No, I just was baking. I thought you might like a muffin. I was like, well, dang it. The one time I think I got like one-upped, he actually didn't even have anything in mind.
Don't you love it?
But I did remember, though, when I was in junior high, somebody actually did do that. They had some example they needed to do for a presentation, so they brought in 2 batches of cookies, and one batch had garlic in them. It was chocolate chip cookies with garlic. And the other batch was just normal chocolate chip cookies. And so I can't remember what the experiment, or what the example was. It was like, you can't judge a book by its cover type of a thing, The thing was, though, I had a cold that day, so I couldn't taste the garlic. And so I got all of the cookies in the entire class after that presentation was over, and it was like the best day ever. I had like 30 chocolate chip cookies.
You're like, I don't care why, I'll eat them.
Everybody else was like, that's gross. I'm like, I can't taste it, so I'm loving it. I could just taste the chocolate.
Yeah, speaking of eating stuff, it was so funny when I was at work. They kept feeding us because we had to go to all these classes and meetings and stuff. And so, like, literally almost the whole time I was there, they kept bringing in, like, breakfast and lunch and stuff. And every time they bring in something that I couldn't eat. There was one morning that they brought in stuff, and they also had, like, some plain bagels mixed in. And I was like, somebody told me that I might be able to eat one of the bagels. I ran in there. But literally, except for that one bagel, nothing else I could eat. And it was really funny because my coworkers, I'm lactose intolerant, so they were all joking about it. Although one of my coworkers still can't figure this out. Like, she kept trying to get me to eat a piece of pizza, and I'll be like, I can't eat pizza. Well, unless I make it myself. But, like, I just can't eat random pizza. And she's like, well, why not? And I go, it has cheese on it. And she's like, oh, the cheese is milk. And she's like, oh, what if you take the cheese off? I'm like, well, the bread could have milk. And like one day she came in, I said, can I eat lunch? And she goes, yes, it's sandwiches. And I said, well, let me see. And I said, that's a ham and cheese sandwich on white bread. I can't eat that. She's like, you can take the cheese off. And I go, why do you think the bread is white? A lot of white bread has milk in it. Not all of them, but... And it was so funny, and so by the last day, I walked in there to the break room to see what they brought, and one of my coworkers goes, they brought in a block of cheese. Don't even look at it. But, yeah. It was just funny. They all started to get a joke out of it. Like, they'd come running in, oh my gosh, we have something else you can't eat, And the secretary, who kept ordering it, she kept forgetting. She's like, oh, I meant to order you something. I'm like, no, it's okay. But it was pretty funny. And then the teacher kept coming in. One of the coaches we have on our team permanently, he kept trying to get me to join the group by eating pizza one day, like one of the first days. And I said, I don't want the pizza. And he's like, come on, eat the pizza. I'm like, I'm not eating the pizza. And so finally one of my coworkers was talking to me. He tried to give me pizza. He's like, I really don't want the pizza. And he goes, she's lactose intolerant. She's not going to eat the pizza. And he's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And I was like, I don't want the pizza. And it was Papa John's every time. And I'm like, dang it, it's good pizza. Well, from what I remember, at least.
So, my company, I think, was a little bit different. When we had like not a Christmas party, but there was some sort of kind of like a cocktail party type of thing that my company threw last holiday season. Or not holidays, I guess. Anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
And... they shot out an email and said, hey, let us know if anybody that you bring in, none of your guests, or you have allergies. And so I shot back and said, yeah, my wife is lactose intolerant and also can't have beef. And at the time, she was recently returned from overseas where she had been for a couple of years. And when she was over there, the local beef had something in it that she had an allergic reaction to, basically. And so she couldn't have any beef or cow products for the 2 years that she was overseas.
Yeah.
And so she developed a lactose intolerance because of that. So when she got back, she was really gun-shy about the beef because she was just like, I don't know, she wasn't sure if it was just the local beef or if it was any beef or what. So she didn't eat any even U.S. beef for like a year, basically. And so when we got there, they were like, oh, yeah, not a problem. So as soon as we showed up, we walked in, and the people, like the waitstaff, knew her by name. And we're like, we've prepared a salad for you, specifically, like, with different ingredients than everybody else. We have these alternative hors d'oeuvres ready for you. Like, it was just like everything exactly what you could have wanted. And we were all just like, wait, how does the waitstaff know who she is? Like, we've never been here before. They're really good. I still don't know how my company kind of clued them all off. I really don't. I guess that they must like secretly tip them off as we walked in the door and been like, she's the one.
That's probably it, because that happens to me. They'll see me like, uh-oh, run for it. That's why, like, there was one cruise ship we went on recently that every time they swiped my card to, like, register me to the restaurant, it came up with the allergy, and they're like, uh-oh, she's back. Uh-oh, this is bad. Oh! Okay, I need to switch out.
Oh, good save.
Yeah, I was trying to switch out, actually, when I started the fight, but it was too quick.
Were you the one that was telling us about the person who was living on a cruise ship?
Yeah, people live on cruise ships all the time.
But the person who was, like, doing it for their retirement?
Yeah, because it's cheaper than a nursing home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
me.
fascinating.
Because it was one ship we were on, the person had been on the ship. Because, well, it's common for them to live on cruise ships. It's not as common for them to stay on the same cruise ship. They'll stay on it for a couple months and then change ships.
Mm-hmm.
This lady, I think, had been traveling with Princess Cruises for, like, almost 200 days. Or it was, like, 250 days. Now I'm not going to pay attention to this fight, because I don't know why I can't win. This is ridiculous. Okay. Okay. Switch out. Switch out again.
I mean, yeah, it's an A rank OU. You don't expect her to
It's just because I think it's...
Jerahan.
No, it's the speed thing. No, that's gonna hurt. Okay, I didn't think... I used square because I didn't think... Yeah. Ugh! Come on, Calb, heal up. This is a problem if you rely too much on one monster. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, Crumbs! Crumbs! Ah! This is bad. Okay. No! Okay. I was gonna heal, actually. I was gonna do sleeping right after if that didn't hit, so... unfortunately, I think Gary's out the rest of the fight. I don't think he recovers.
Oh, really? So he stays KO'd?
I think he does, yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's why I was trying to hurry and get Calb out of the way. I think I'll try doing sleeping, actually, at the beginning of the fight. Ugh, and I missed.
You missed sleeping?
Somehow, yes, you can miss. Sorry, now I'm having to actually, like, pay attention to the fights, because I don't think you can run from these fights.
Maybe bring Graham in for some of it?
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking of doing. That's why I was working on his, not agility, his, accuracy right before this. Uh-oh, that's bad. 40%'s good. No, it's not, apparently. 17%'s very bad. Ugh, I don't want to team up now. Alright, you suck. Whew. Yeah, when we get to the... There's actually, I know, one other adventure we're gonna have to go to. You're gonna have to switch back and forth a lot. Oh, no. No! Alright, well, we'll catch up to the same floor we were just on, and we'll see you guys next time when we continue through the Promios ruins. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.